Hello everyone, welcome to the AdCup Show. For the last 500 years, one pattern has destroyed every global superpower that thought it was invincible and nothing can destroy them. Spain, Britain, the Soviet Union, all these three empires followed the same 7 steps and all collapsed completely. Now, America stands at stage 5. History may not repeat, but it definitely rhymes. And the rhyme of collapse always begins the same way. It starts with stage 1, which is military overextension. Every empire begins its golden age by expanding, building colonies, bases, and influence far beyond its official borders. For Spain, it was the conquest of the Americas, driven by gold, silver, glory, and Christianity, which wasn't really a good thing for the natives. For Britain, it was naval domination of half of the planet. For the Soviet Union, it was Eastern Europe, Afghanistan, and the endless arms race. They wanted to reach Indian Ocean, which they couldn't accomplish. And for the United States, it's 750 military bases across 80 countries. Each expansion fuels pride and honor, but it also drains wealth because power projection costs money and other resources, and the bill always comes due. Stage 2 is currency debasement. When the wars get expensive, the printing machine starts running. Spain flooded Europe with silver from its colonies, thinking it was wealth, but it only caused inflation because supply was more and demand was less. This destroyed their entire financial system. Britain abandoned the gold standard to fund World War I and World War II. The Soviet Union manipulated currency and hid its deficits until reality broke through. And for America, the dollar was once backed by gold until 1971, when Nixon ended the gold standard. Since then, debt became money and money became infinite. But every empire learns the same lesson. When money becomes infinite, value becomes collusion. Stage 3, the debt spiral. Once the currency weakens, debt becomes the addiction. Governments borrow to maintain comfort, not to create growth. Spain borrowed to fund endless wars. Britain borrowed to maintain colonies it could no longer afford. The Soviet Union borrowed resources from its own people, promising prosperity while delivering shortages. Currency printing was out of control during the final years of the Soviet Union. And the United States today borrows $2 trillion every year, not for innovation, but to sustain an unsustainable system. Then comes stage 4, which is loss of productive capacity and capability. Every empire eventually stops producing and starts consuming and gets addicted to it. Spain imported everything, ships, tools, weapons from others. Britain, after losing colonies, shifted from manufacturing to finance. The USSR collapsed when its factories stopped supplying even basic goods. America no longer produces anything, it only consumes. It's currently the world's largest consumer market. Stage 5, division. The collapse begins internally before it appears externally. Society splits between rich and poor, left and right, truth and propaganda. Bread and circuses replaced discipline and innovation. Spain's nobles lived off taxes while peasants starved. Britain's working class revolted under crushing inequality. The Soviet Union drowned in corruption and censorship. And America, social division, moral fatigue, collapsing trust in institutions, every symptom of stage 5 is already visible. Empires don't fall when they're conquered, they fall when they rot from inside. Now, at this point, the pattern becomes irreversible. Stage 6, loss of reserve currency status. Every superpower's final illusion is its currency. Spain's silver coin, once global money, became worthless when supply outpaced trust. Britain's pound sterling ruled the world for 2 centuries until 2 world wars forced it to surrender that crown to the US dollar in 1944. And now, for the first time in 80 years, the dollar dominance is being questioned. Countries are trading in yuan, rupees, rubles, and gold. The BRICS alliance is forming a parallel financial system. Even America's allies are reducing dollar dependency quietly. Once the world stops needing your currency, it stops needing your empire. Stage 7, complete collapse. Collapse doesn't mean destruction overnight. It's a slow unwinding. First financial, then social, then political. Spain's collapse took 80 years. Britain's collapse took 40 years. The Soviet Union took just 3 years. Nobody knows how long will America take to collapse, but the direction is clear. Numbers don't lie. 38+ trillion in debt, interest payment exceeding $1 trillion. Political gridlock that guarantees no reform. History calls this moment the moment of no return. But here's what's often misunderstood. Collapse doesn't mean the end of everything. It means the end of dominance. It's the transition point from one empire's peak to another's rise. Spain's fall gave birth to Britain, Britain's decline made space for America, and America's fading power is giving rise to Asia, China, India, and regional blocs, which are now redefining global order. The question isn't will the US collapse, the question is who replaces it. Now, this isn't speculation or conspiracy, it's pattern recognition. Across 500 years of recorded history, every superpower follows the same script: expansion, debt, decay, collapse. Spain's silver, Britain's pound, USSR ideology, America's dollar. Different tools, same trajectory. When a system rewards short-term pleasure over long-term stability, collapse isn't an accident, it's a design. So where are we today? For America, Stage 5 is complete. Stage 6 is beginning. Stage 7 is no longer if, but only when. History doesn't predict the date, but it guarantees the sequence, and the sequence has never failed. The 7-stage collapse isn't a prophecy, it's a mirror. Every generation thinks that they are smarter, different, and more advanced. But history reminds us the pattern never changes, only the empire's name does. If you found this analysis insightful, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. How much time do you think American empire will take to become history? Let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.